Hey guys, what's up? It's Maxwell. Welcome to my very first YouTube tutorial on how to make a super thick, punchy 80s bass with Serum. To start, let's bring up the synth and go to Oscillator A. From the drop-down, select sub-bass 1. Drop that an octave. Enable Oscillator B, and from the drop-down, select Eval Sweep. We want to get these two wavetables working together and interacting with each other, so we'll use some FM synthesis for that. On the warp menu here for Oscillator B, select FM from A. FM standing for frequency modulation is exactly that. We're going to modulate Oscillator B with Oscillator A. And I only want a very subtle downward sweep on that. So we'll need to assign an envelope to it. By default in Serum, envelope 1 is reserved for the amplitude. So we'll take envelope 2, drag that over, and we can drag up or down to adjust the amount of modulation. Now let's adjust the envelope itself. Just click a node and you can drag it wherever. We don't want to go all the way down to 0 with the sustain. We want to keep some there at the bottom. And you can also adjust the slope of the decay by dragging up or down on this node. Maybe a little less. There we go. Now let's enable the filter and make sure that both A and B are selected so both oscillators are being routed through the filter. In Serum, for the low-pass filter, which is what we're using, you have 4 different options, and these are just different slopes. 18 is a sweet spot. Adjust the resonance to maybe somewhere around 20. Add some drive and fattening. And so just like with the FM modulation, we want to route the cutoff to envelope 2. And already you can hear that 80s bass vibe coming through. All right, that's a good starting point. Next, to widen the sound and just give it more presence and more flavor, we're gonna add some unison voices. We don't want to do this to Oscillator A because that's our sub bass and that's the foundation of the bass where most of the low end is coming from. So we only want to add unison voices to Oscillator B, which is the texture. You can go all the way up to 16, which is pretty gnarly, but for this patch, let's keep it more subtle. Go down to about 4 and adjust the detune. Let's also make that more subtle. I'm at 0.06. All right, cool. As is, this is a pretty usable 80s bass sound. But with some additional post-processing, we can really bring it to life. So go to the effects section, enable the compressor, and let's dial in the basic parameters first. Threshold, let's go down to about -22. You can see how much gain reduction there is on the right. Ratio, let's do 5:1. Attack, 30. Right around between like 25 and 35 is a good spot for bass because you want to help accent the transient. The release, keep that around 50 or 60. Since this is a punchy, more percussive bass, you just want a short release time. And the gain, bring that up as much as you can. Watch the right here to see when you're clipping. Awesome. Now, we're almost there. Next, we're going to enable the multiband. So let's start by balancing out the low end. We go low, mid, high. Mid's probably good where it is, right around 100%. And on the highs, let's go ahead and take that up because that's where our transient's really going to come through. Great. And I think let's go ahead and take a look at this slope again on our decay. Right on. Okay, so now what you're probably hearing is an artifact at the end of the sound. And that's being caused by the release time being too quick. Can you hear that click at the end? I personally want to keep a little bit in there because it adds this sort of vinyl crackly quality to it, but too much is just distracting. So if you go to envelope 1 and just adjust the release, we can cut it out completely, or we can keep a little bit in there. Let's do the same on envelope 2. Cool. And that's it. That's the patch. So next, let's hear it back with the track that I'm working on to see if it's really coming to life the way we want it to, and it's cutting through the mix, and it's feeling good, and it's feeling present. Awesome, that's almost exactly where I want it. One little tweak I want to make is on the attack time for envelope 2. By default, it's at 0.5 milliseconds, but if we soften that just a little bit, and this is the envelope that's affecting our FM modulation and our cutoff. If we soften it just a little bit, it loosens that transient and gives it an almost kind of flammy, sort of more organic sound, even though the sound itself is very electronic. And you can hear that in the track when I play it back now. And there you go, a super thick, punchy 80s bass you can use on almost anything. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below. I'll do my best to get back to you ASAP. And if you're down for more videos like this one, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks so much. I'll see you soon.